So, did you get the paintbrushes? Did you get the other things we were talking about? Like maybe going to Bunnings and getting the paintbrushes, or going to the art store or the newsagent to get stuff to colour? Because that's all good stuff, but you need to find something to do to keep your mind occupied. Because being number 6 lockdown for 2021 for Victoria, hey, you think we might be getting used to it, or is it that the depression in ourselves and our anxiety is actually getting worse? Hey there, how you going? It's Mike Carroll from MC Counselling, and we've been talking a little bit about things you can do during lockdown, if you're in lockdown in Sydney, if you're in lockdown in Victoria, this weekend. And I suggested going and getting some painting or doing some paint stuff. And then I heard my mate John Lamb from the Heart Focus Community Care in Terrelgan talking about painting as well. I'm like, was he copying me or was I copying him? And I was also speaking this morning in regards to traumas for or triggers for trauma that could come up when lockdown hits. Now, the triggers could be in many different forms, and I had a few DMs, so thanks so much for that. I was saying that it triggers for me the Twin Towers bombing back in however many years ago it is now, and that's really wrong. I should know the exact amount if I want to talk about it. But it was an hour and a half prior to me going on the radio, and I'm like, this is going to be a completely different radio show to what we've had before. And it was a different radio show, because when you're doing music-based radio, not talkback, it's like, well, I think we need to talk a bit about this. I think we need news updates on the hour overnight. But when you look back at it, that doesn't help me to work with this lockdown, because what we need to do is identify the trigger when you hear about lockdown, and is that trigger important for you? Is that going to be helpful for you, or is it a trigger that we need to ignore and just work on the actual problem at hand? There's a lot of information for you in one go from me. Basically, check out to see if the trigger that happens for you when lockdown is announced is appropriate or needed in the situation. If it's not, leave it behind. It's quite okay. So what are you going to do this weekend? Have you got some things organised? There's lots of, obviously there's social media. We'll love to have you there. We're going to put extra posts on social media from MC Counselling. Today, I had all plans of doing this video for you earlier this morning, but I wanted to take some time out. So I watched a movie. Well, I didn't, because as soon as I lay on the couch, I fell asleep with the heater going, but that's okay. It's nice to have a sleep during the day. But do some things that stimulate your mind, and also conversations. Have great conversations. Maybe make a call to somebody you haven't spoken to for a while and see what they're up to. Another thing I just want to add on this already very long video is check on your neighbours. Now, I think what we should be doing is phone numbers. And my next door neighbour, I've never had his phone number, but I thought to myself when I first moved into Seaspray that he was the kind of guy that didn't want that contact, and that's fine. I'm a bit of an out there kind of guy, as you all know. And so I made a mistake there, but the difference with this lockdown is we've been in contact, and that things are a little bit different in terms of, we're going to look at internet and help him out with his internet and get that sorted as well. So check on your neighbours in the way that you can. If you don't have their phone number, maybe put a letter or a note in their letterbox to ask for it. So you can keep in contact and just say hi from time to time. Because people that are living alone really have it hard. And I have talked earlier about the wall of sound for MC Counselling. And the wall of sound is so important because what it does is it keeps sound going, which stops the negative self-talk. It stops your mind from wandering, which sometimes is great if the mind wanders, but not always. So a few little tips there for Lockdown 6, our first weekend for our 7-day lockdown for 2021 in Victoria. I think I've got it all out. I'm Mike Carroll from MC Counselling. I'll talk to you soon. Don't forget, DMs are always open, and 0488 help me. Find out more about us at mccounselling.com or even via Psychology Today as well. Talk to you soon. Have a great night.